So a topic has come up a few times today, and I thought I'd just do a quick video to talk through some of this issue, and that issue is HTTPS. What you will see sometimes on a website is that you get this HTTPS, and if it has an S on the end, then that means that the website is secure, and you should see some kind of little lock symbol here. But I guess the question is, what does it mean for a website to be secure? So I'm going to cover a couple of things. I'm going to talk about what the different types of security or thing that these HTTPS certificates are, and how you can identify them and recognize them, and how you can sometimes get hold of them for free these days, sometimes not, but what your options might be for getting hold of what's called a certificate, which is what makes your website secure. So I'm looking here at the website of a service called Let's Encrypt, and Let's Encrypt is what it says on the screen here. It's a free, automated and open certificate authority. So Let's Encrypt allows you to get HTTPS certificates for free. I'll talk a bit more about this later on, but the key thing is that what you'll see here is that it has this green padlock, and you'll see this more and more as time goes on. The people who make web browsers are desperately trying to make the web a more secure place by making it clear when things aren't secure. So you'll see not secure up here a lot more in the very near future. But this website is secure, and it does have a green padlock. And what's that telling us? It's telling us that any information that we type into forms and any pages that we view on this site are going to be transmitted securely using end-to-end encryption to the server that is sending back the web pages. So when I visit let'sencrypt.org, it sends a request to a server. That request is encrypted, and it says, can you get me the home page? And then the home page is sent back, and that is also encrypted. That's all it's telling us here by having this green padlock. If I go to my bank and have a look there, they've got a green padlock, but they've also got their name next to the padlock, and this means that they have a more advanced and a more expensive HTTPS certificate, which has verified them as the owner of this website and as this organization, and that has allowed them to display this name next to the padlock, because that is information is contained in the certificate and allows the browser to pull that information out and display it here. So in this case, where we've just got the green padlock, all we know is that we are securely sending information to somewhere, and that place looks like it's let'sencrypt.org, but we don't actually know who is on the other end of the connection. With my bank, because they've got this more advanced certificate, I know that not only am I communicating securely, I know who I am communicating securely with. These more advanced certificates are more expensive, and you have to go through a verification process to obtain them. So they are harder to get hold of. But for things like banking and more secure personal information, it's right that you know who you are sending that information to. And so these more expensive certificates do get used by people like banks and other kind of financial services and medical services and things like that. So how do we go about getting hold of SSL certificates? I'm not going to go through all the different services, but let's talk about Let's Encrypt, because for most applications, if you've just got a contact form on your website, or if you've got a login form, this basic HTTPS is all that you need. And what we're seeing now increasingly is that the people that host websites, the hosting companies, are increasingly including Let's Encrypt and similar services as services for free on their websites. So just so you can see how easy this is to set up with a host that supports it, here's a host that I've used called 34SP, who do great managed WordPress hosting, and literally with them you go into their control panel and you select the right part of the control panel, and then you choose which domain you want to get a certificate for, and you click a big green button, and they go off and sort it all out for you, and they automatically renew the certificate for you as well. So that's a really, really great service, and really, really nicely done by 34SP. I use some virtual private servers, which are servers of my own, and I run a thing called Server Pilot on them. And this also has what they call Auto SSL, and you'll see here it's enabled for Oikos Digital for my own website. SSL, by the way, is one of the technologies that underlies HTTPS, and the certificate actually gives you SSL, and then HTTPS sits on top of SSL. But for most purposes, SSL and HTTPS are the same thing. And you'll see here, literally, I've got a disable button, which turns to an enable button. And again, this is all renewed automatically and just works really, really easily and enables me to obtain the certificates and install them literally by clicking a button. So good hosting services will have this built in, will enable you to click a button to get an HTTPS certificate, and they'll automatically renew it for you as well. If your host doesn't have one of these single click button services, then it's worth emailing them. Historically, hosting companies have sold HTTPS certificates, and so they've been able to make money and profit out of them. But now with these free services, they can't do that. So it may be that your host can do this for you, but they don't advertise that they can do it. But it's definitely worth contacting them and saying, hey, I've heard that I'm going to have this big not secure thing appear in people's web browsers. So can you help me do something about that? And in most cases, hopefully that's something that they will do. And if you want to mention Let's Encrypt, because that's the industry standard free system for doing this, then that may well get you some brownie points with them and give you some argument for getting a free certificate. Hopefully that's been useful. The web is becoming more secure. Please go away and look at these services that help you get free HTTPS certificates. Go and ask your hosts, and if you can do so, go and install a certificate and make your site use HTTPS. As always with these things, it's not quite as simple as just obtaining the certificate. There is other stuff that you need to do as well. But a good hosting company or a good web developer will be able to help you through that process. So go and ask the question, find people to help you out, and go and make the web a bit more secure.